the previous 3 sessions, we have learned about the circle of sensibility and the 4 spiritual types suggested within. The primary value of this approach to spiritual type is not in being able to pigeonhole oneself or others by saying, I am this category or type, and you are that category or type. That would actually undermine the model by suggesting limitation rather than latitude. Rather, the typology shows that we all have tendencies toward certain ways of living out our spirituality, and that our growing edge is the tension placed on us by the other. As I'm sure you figured out by now, no one falls entirely into one quadrant or type of spiritual expression without any shade or inclination toward at least one other spiritual type. The message of the circle of sensibility is this. Once we have found where we fall within the total circle, we then have the opportunity to grow by first acknowledging and strengthening our present gifts, by growing toward our opposite quadrant, and by appreciating more perceptively the quadrants on either side of our dominant type. First, we should focus on acknowledging and strengthening our present gifts. In Type 1, this group is naturally inclined toward community gatherings and on the spoken word. Group classes, Bible studies, education for ministry, and lectures will nurture the spirituality of these people. Type 2, this group enjoys sharing food, faith, and heartfelt singing. If you're in this group, a faith-sharing fellowship, casual worship, and opportunities for loving service will help to nurture your spirituality. If your dominant spiritual type is Type 3, retreat and seek solitude and silence to replenish your spirit. Discover writers such as Thomas Merton, Richard Rohr, and Anthony DeMello. Visit the House of Prayer regularly, or make a sacred space in your home to enjoy. For those in Type 4, it may be easy to become frustrated or exasperated by the ills of society and those who seem to do nothing to help. Instead of letting that frustration turn to anger, channel it by finding others who are passionate about the same or similar issues and taking action by volunteering or by leading efforts to make a difference. In the second class, we talked about the particular extremes that each quadrant may be susceptible to. In order to avoid falling into those extremes, individuals and congregations can focus on growing toward their opposite quadrant. In other words, if you're Type 1, grow toward Type 3 by learning to practice centering prayer or reading some spiritually focused works. If you're Type 2, grow toward Type 4 by getting involved in some aspect of outreach or social justice. These are your growing edges. Seek the opposite quadrant. Finally, we need to appreciate more perceptively the quadrants on either side. Dr. Ware's research indicates that one is most likely to be annoyed by, to misunderstand, or to undervalue the spiritual types to either side of your dominant quadrant. Take note of those quadrants to either side of you. Remember that all spiritual types bring something of value to the faith community, and seek to grow in your appreciation of those who may be different from you. As we conclude this course, I hope that you've gained a better understanding of your own spiritual tendencies and how you can continue to strengthen and grow in your life with God and in the community of faith. Let me remind you that this material comes from Discover Your Spiritual Type by Corinne Ware, and if you'd like to explore further, I encourage you to read her book. Thank you for participating.